Welcome back to Diving Into Watches, and we got a really cool review for you this week. I don't typically review what I would call uh, clamage watches. A lot of people, a lot of reviews, they'll call them homage watches. But I don't think a lot of people really know what the definition of homage is. I think I've covered this in one of my previous videos, but it's obviously paying tribute to or uh, to another brand or something, but creating their own unique identity and taking some of the DNA from that original watch and then incorporating into another one. And in the watch world, it's very hard not to have overlapping corresponding features of dive watches because of the bezel and the design and whatnot. But some, and I'm not going to get into company names because everybody know who the company names are. They're just flat out copies of they're flat out copies of an existing watch, be it Seiko, Rolex, Omega, Tudor, whatever, and they copy it to the T. And the only differentiating factor is they put their own name on it and not the other company's name to avoid that whole fake thing. So I don't typically do those unless I do a review of one of those because my intention is to mod the watch and make it something completely different than what it was, like I did with my Seiko Sea Monster and the socks I did, where I kind of compared, if Seiko and Doxa got together and made a watch, this is what it would look like. And I'll put those two watch reviews down in the links if you want to check those out. So again, I don't typically do clamage reviews of those watches. Just it's not my thing. Not knocking them, not knocking them. I understand why people buy them. I mean, but it's just not my area that I want to take my channel and deal with. Occasionally one will come across that to me clicks the box of homage, maybe borderline clamage, but it just fits. It just clicks all the boxes. It's just a superb watch. And not being able to for the original, this one is really nice. The one I am going to be reviewing today, I'm talking about, and maybe you haven't heard of this micro brand. I'm sure somebody in the comments will tell me they're not a micro brand. To me, they are a micro brand, and a micro brand is, obviously a small watch manufacturer than the major ones. But the company I'm talking about is Proxima. And Proxima has a lot of different watches that they do. There's some of their own unique designs, and then some are, homage or clamage/clamage watches. But they do a really fantastic job, and they give you a lot of options in when building your watch that you want. And the watch that I'm talking about is, I absolutely love the Seiko Marine Master 300. I think it's a phenomenal, fantastic, fantastic watch, and I would love to own one. But at the price point of $3,500 for a new one, that's right on the level of a Tudor Pelagos FXD that I would love to have, which is about 4,500 on the used, maybe 3,500 on the used market, up to about 5,500 new. Um, I have a hard time paying Tudor prices for a Seiko, even though I think the Seiko Marine Master is an outstanding watch. And I know you can pick them up on the used market, probably down around the $2,000 range. Um, but if I'm kind of spending that kind of money, I want the new thing. So I really wanted a Marine Master, but I just can't pull the trigger on that kind of money. So I was kind of taking a look at the different companies out there that make homages of them. Sea Stern is one that comes to mind. I think San Martin does, and I think there's two other ones that they come to mind. But the huge difference among those, and I think one of them, I think the San Martin maybe does, but all the other ones, the thing about the Marine Master is it's a mono block case, which means it's a solid block case. The only way you're going to get to the movement is you have to take the bezel off, the glass, you have to take the sapphire glass out, and then you have to take the parts in half to get to the movement. So it makes regulating just an absolute forget it. I'm not going to do it. Um, so the other ones that looked at, they were homages of the Seiko Marine Master. They had a screw down case back, and that's not what Seiko Marine Masters is. So when I was looking at Proxima, they kept coming up and they kept coming up, and I finally pulled the trigger and got one. It's they call theirs the Scuba. Let's see here. Yeah, Scuba Master Professional 300M. But basically, it's a homage of the Seiko Sea Master. I'm sorry, Seiko Marine Master 300M, but they step it up a notch as far as not the build quality. The build quality is excellent. It is a monoblock. I'm sorry, it is a monoblock case, and I'll review it in depth on the bench. But one of the things they do that Seiko doesn't do is they do a lumed bezel. It's a ceramic lume bezel. I know that Seiko Sea Masters, I believe it's ceramic. I didn't do a lot of research on it for this video because it's out of my price point, and I don't own one, so I'm not reviewing it. Uh, But this particular one with Proxima, it hits all the right ticks. You can customize it from the different bezel you want on it. You can have an NH35 movement in it. You can have a PT 5000 movement in, and you can have an SW2 200 movement in it. So you got 3 movement options, and you can even do a titanium case. And I think when I plugged in the SW 200 movement titanium case and the CW3 Super Luminova uh, uh, for the hands and the dial and the bezel with the ceramic bezel, I think it capped out at $495. The one that I got as priced, I think it was $199 because I didn't go with a metal band. I didn't go with the bracelet. I went with the rubber. I wanted like the old school rubber straps. Typically, I don't keep the rubber straps because they're not that good, but this one, as you'll see when I do the review, is just phenomenal. So we're going to be taking a close and in-depth look at the Proxima. I think it's called the PX168. I'll correct myself on the bench. That's the model number. But I would tell you to go check out Proxima. They have a killer homage line cross of clamage of the Seiko Marine Master 300mm. And they also, I think, do one of the Tuna and some other Seiko watches, but they give you a lot of customization. I went with the one with the NH35 because I'm just very familiar with the NH35. I do have Marathon, which has the SW200, which is Solida movement 200. Phenomenal movement, high beat movement. But the website that I bought my from didn't give me those options. How I did not get it from the original Proxima website, I don't know, because I probably would have bought it with the PT 5000 movement or the SW200 movement just to have a better movement in it. Because this one is not regulated at all, and its time is for how often I wear it and what I wear it, it keeps perfect time. But if I have a chance, I'll throw it on the time grapher and show you how far it's off. And regulating is not hard. It's just getting to the movement. Forget about it. I've watched some videos. I mean, it's just a lot of work. I mean, than just unscrewing the back because there is no back. You got to take the bezel off. You got to take the sapphire glass off. It is a lot of work to get to it. And I'm just not that at this price point. I'm not that concerned about it. If I was that concerned about it, I'd probably sell this one and I would go buy with the SW200 in it and have a super nice movement in it. That's what I like about Proxima is you can really customize it to the case. And then they have 3 different case materials. The 3/16L stainless steel, the next one up of stainless steel, it's like CN, I can't recall off the top of my head, and then they have the titanium. And you know how I feel about titanium. I'm still on the fence on it just because it's so light, it just doesn't feel real. Well, I can tell you this watch has some heft. I'll make sure to pull my scale down and give you the gram weights, tell you how many grams this weighs. But without further review, let's jump over the bench and let's take a look at the Proxima clamage slash homage slash clamage, however you want to put it, of the Seiko Marine Master 300. Let's take a look at the Proxima Scuba Master Professional 300M. All right, folks, we are back over on the bench to take a look at the Proxima 300 Scuba Master 300M. And you can see, just taking a close-up look at it right here, it is just absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I see a little bit of fingerprints on here. I'm not like some of the other videos. I don't wear the gloves. Sorry, I don't know, kind of just I think those things are distracting to me. But you can see that it is just an absolute gorgeous watch. Just really checks all the boxes as far as build quality and how well it's been built. You can see the monoblock case. It's all one solid piece. That back does not come off. You have to remove the bezel, remove the sapphire, pull to get to that, and then it's a real booger to get down into here to get the screw out. So I've watched a few people do it, and I was just like, you know what, it's just not worth it. And I just threw on the time grapher to check it out, and it was only off 6 seconds a day. So last time I checked it, I must not have worn it a long time. But I will put it on the time grapher so you can see how well the NH35 is doing on it. But before I get really into it and go over a lot of stuff, let's get into let's just cover the dimensions real quick here. The model number is PX1683. The lume is Swiss C3 Super Luminova. The case is 44 millimeters across. The thickness, it's a little bit on the thick side. It's 15.8, and that's because of the depth that it can go to and being a solid monoblock case. It's a chunk. When I went to, well, I'll talk about that in a second. The lug is 20 millimeters, so you're definitely not going to have any problems finding straps for it. It's sticking to that solid strap side than the 22. The strap wears very, very comfortably, so no issues there. And the lug to lug is 50 millimeters, so it's wide, but it's not super wide. And when I give you the wrist shots, you'll see that it actually does not look too big on a 6¼ inch wrist. It is sapphire glass with AR coating, and it is a ceramic lumed bezel also. And this one does have the NH35 and it's 300 meters. So there is the quick down and dirty dimensions of this watch. Looking at the watch, you can see that the indices are applied. There is the Proxima and the Scuba Master Professional is printed, but all the other indices are applied. And then there is some printing around the date window, and then you have the minute track along the inner side there. And then you have the classic stop sign of seconds hand, kind of like what's typical of Seiko and all their watches. So they kept that kind of in line with the homage part, clemage part of the watch. The gold hands are very, very nice. The bezel action is excellent. I can do this one hand, no problem. It's firm, but it's not too firm and it's not too soft. And the QC, unlike Seiko, it lines up right at the top. It lines up perfectly. Oh, I went too far. Did I just jinx myself by saying that? There we go. So it lines up very nicely. Very, very happy with it. On the weight side, I have a scale. I reload my own ammo, so I have a scale for weighing out grams of powder, but it also grains of powder, but it also does grams. And when I threw it on there, it's not rated to do something super heavy, but it kind of errored out between about 180 and 200 grams on the weight, and that is on a rubber bracelet. So I'm sure if it's on a regular bracelet, it's going to be at 200, maybe a little over. But if it's titanium, I'm sure it's going to be extremely light. The case is all polished, except for the edge here, you have just a little bit of brushing. And then the back side of the case is all polished with the back being brushed. And it has the Proxima logo, and it says Divers 300 Automatic Sapphire Crystal. It is drilled end links. It has nice chafering on the case. There's no sharp edges. It comes down very nicely. What comes down very nicely with the way the bracelet is, or the rubber strap is on here, so it allows it to sit on the wrist very, very nice. The lugs taper down very comfortably, not overhang. They're not too crazy. Very nice in that part. The crown is at the typical 4 o'clock like a Seiko would be. It is an unmarked crown. The knurling on the crown is very nice. It's very easy to loosen up. It's very firm, but it's not going to come undone. It could be a little smoother. It's a little on the gritty side, but not bad at all. I have no complaints. And it does have quick release. This is the band that it came on, and this has quick release straps on it, 20 millimeter straps. The strap is very, very soft. It is a what do you want to call it? Unlogoed strap, and it is very, very comfortable, very, very soft. I was surprised because typically when you get straps, they tend to be very hard, plasticky feeling, and I was very happy that it wasn't like that. I will give you a lume shot here in a second. Just not a whole lot that I can nail this watch on that I don't like about it as far as things that don't make me happy. I am very happy with the watch. I'm very happy with the performance. I was happy with the price. As again, I said, mine was like $199. Maybe a little more brushing would have been kind of cool. But overall, not displeased with it at all. The very first time I wore it and I threw it on the time grapher, it said it was off 195 seconds a day. And I was like, what the hell? Oh my God. And I thought about regulating it. And I hadn't put it back on the time grapher since. So I'm going to throw it on the time grapher so you can see what the time grapher says. And you can see that it's like a typical NH35. It's actually doing very, very, very well. And then we will do a lume shot and then a wrist shot, and then we will do our final review. So let me get it over on the time grapher for you real quick. Okay, now it's running. We'll let it run its 4 tests on the time grapher. 21,600 BPH, that's vibrations per hour, 254 on the amplitude. We have 0 beat error. -7 seconds, -7 seconds, Third one's going to be probably that same again, minus 7 seconds, minus 7 seconds. And the last one is going to come in right at minus 8 seconds. So you can see that it's keeping great time. It's that's actually very, very well from a Seiko NH35, which is minus 15. I'm sorry, minus 15 to plus 40 seconds a day that you can get on the time. So absolutely no complaints there on the time. You can see it's keeping great time. It's typical of an NH35. It's just a solid movement. Very happy with this watch. I think if you're interested in the Seiko Marine Master and it's just completely out of your price range, I would definitely tell you to give Proxima a look compared to all the other Homage watches, Clamage watches that are out there mimicking or copying the Seiko. Let's go ahead and get a Lume shot of this one so you can see how nice that Lume is. Okay, here is the Lume, the Swiss C3 Super Luminova. You can see that the hands and the indices are glowing a green color. Also, the second hand is glowing green. And then the bezel is kind of a, I want to say a blue. It's like a blue glow, and it's very strong. It's very bright, very nice. Very happy with the Lume. I don't think you're going to go wrong with it. It is Super Luminova, Swiss C3 Super Luminova. I know they do give you different options for the Lume on the bezel. I did not take a look at all those different options because, again, I did not get this from the Proxima website. I got it from a different website. But had I done it over, I would have bought this from the Proxima website and probably went with a higher upgraded movement because I absolutely love this watch and I wear it a ton. It's just an absolute tank of a watch. You will definitely know it's on your wrist, but it's not so heavy that you'd be uncomfortable with it. So with that, let me get the lights back on and we'll get some wrist shots. A quick wrist watch check I have on my Spinnaker called the Rec. It's kind of a faux patina dial and the scuffed up bezel. I will be doing a review on this one. It has a metal bracelet that I don't have it on right now. This is a Barton Straps Barton Straps NATO that I have it on. I've had it on this. I've worn this pretty much all week. This has been, I've had this on just remembering my time in the military, and because it was December 7th, just the other day, so in honor of December 7th, 1941. I wish that you get these in different ranks. It only comes with Staff Sergeant on there because I retired as an E7 Sergeant First Class, so it would have been cool to actually have my rank on this watch band. This is a Blue Shark watch band, and they make this one just with this rank only on it. So if you're looking for a kind of a military-themed inspired wrist or NATO strap, very, very comfortable, very happy with it. I'm not a big fan, as you know, of NATOs just because I have a smaller wrist and they tend to look kind of large on my wrists, but this one actually does pretty good. So, but let's get the Proxima on and get a wristwatch for you, wrist watch check for you. Not a check, but a look. All right, there it is on my 6 1/4 inch wrist. You can see the way that those drilled lugs hang and the way it lets that strap just hang just perfectly. Excuse my sunburned, peeling arm here. A little too much sun. It's live in Arizona, but we're just now getting winter. But I got a little bit of a burn. Too much time in the sun last weekend. But you can see that it fits very, very comfortably and very nicely on my very small wrist. No complaints whatsoever. I don't notice the heft of it at all, but I know it's there. It stays on very nicely. It does not overhang my wrist at all. So if you have larger wrists, it's going to work just fine. Being 44. You know, some watches can just wear really, really large. Like this, this Spinnaker is actually 42 millimeter, and this watch is 44. And this Spinnaker feels like it wears much larger than the Proxima does. So not always does larger mean it's going to wear larger on your wrist, as you can see by this. So with that, let's wrap up. Let's go back over to the studio, and I'll wrap it up, and I'll give you my final review on what I think of the Proxima Scuba Master Professional 300M. All right, folks, there you go. There is the review of the Proxima Scuba Master Professional 300M. Very, very happy with it. Can't complain about it at all. I think it's an outstanding watch. I don't think this is one that I would not recommend to anybody. If you're interested in this style watch and you're looking to get a Seiko Marine Master style watch without paying the huge price tags, I know everybody has different feelings on the Homage, Clamage watches out there. certain ones I don't have much of an issue, you know, if you're going to get one that's long as they kind of make it look different and just don't slap a different name on it. But there's some watches that I just will not wear. If I'm going to wear a Tudor, if I'm going to wear something that looks like a Tudor, I'm going to buy a Tudor. I'm just going to save and I'm going to buy it. I have a couple of nice high-end watches that's just what I had to do. I had to save my pennies and not buy other watches. And when I got there, I bought the watches. One of those is the Marathon G-SAR 41 millimeter that I will be doing a review on, which very, very nice watch, but I saved my pennies and I bought it because I really, really wanted it. But I don't think you can go wrong with the Proxima MM3 or Scuba Master 300M. I definitely encourage you to go check it out. Go to their website, check it out. I don't know if they have these sales going right now, but with the whole holiday season, I think there's probably a lot of sales going on. Definitely customize it. You can. I know the biggest gripe a lot of people say is, "Hey, I'm paying it and I don't want that NH35." Proxima gives you two options. I think the PT5000 was only $25 more to put that movement in, and I've heard a lot of good reviews about the PT5000. I think it's a clone of the Sellita or one other one. Someone will probably put in the comments to tell me which one is a clone. I think it's a clone of, or you can get the SW200 movement, and I think that was an extra $125. So if you went with the watch just like mine, you're going to be probably, let's say 200. If you went with the Sellita, you're going to be at $250. No, I'm sorry, $350 if you went with the PT5000. This watch would have been $225. I probably would have done that one just because I'm going to get a watch of the PT5000 and check that movement out. I've heard good things about it. Let me know if you've got a watch of the PT5000, if you think it's a good movement. Do you have any Proxima watches? Do you have this watch or a similar watch to the Proxima? What do you think about it? I don't think you could go wrong with it. I don't have any complaints about it. Typically, I find something to gripe about. I didn't have the bracelet, so I can't know if I can complain about the bracelet or not. But there's nothing to complain about rubber straps. They are what they are, and I always love a good rubber strap. And I am happy that it wasn't that hard, crappy, plastic doesn't even feel like rubber like you typically get with a Casio or a Seiko. So with that, folks, thanks for watching. I hope you all guys are having a great holiday season. We got another great review coming for you next week. Keep hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button. You're helping the channel grow, and it means a ton to this old vet. I really do appreciate it. Hey, you guys stay safe. You have a great holiday weekend, and we'll see you next week with another great, awesome review. I'm diving into watches, and I'm out.